It's time to get down to business on TK Business Live, brought to you by the members of the Topeka Independent Business Association. Now, let's join Tara Dimmick, owner and publisher of TK Business Magazine, as we take a look into the business world of Topeka, Kansas.
Hi, and welcome to TK Business Live. I'm Tara Dimmick, and it's great to be with you this Sunday. I've got a great show coming up. Scott Gales is going to join me here shortly. He's with Architect One, and we're going to talk about an announcement that he has, as well as talk a little bit about the military council that he's a part of with the Greater Topeka Chamber of Commerce. And then I have a special guest joining me. Her name is Joie, and she has been a part of First Tee of Shawnee County for the last 3.5 years, and now she has a scholarship to go on and play golf at Bethany College. And we're going to talk a little bit about her experiences with First Tee of Shawnee County and what's ahead for her. I have Scott Gales joining me. He is the president and co-owner of Architect One. Welcome, Scott.
Well, thanks for having me.
It's always good to have you. And you have a new announcement to share. It's kind of been announced already but tell us a little bit about what's going on over at Architect One.
So these are exciting times, obviously, for the professional architecture industry. And for us specifically, we were kind of looking at how we expand our market, knowing that we had clients in other communities and had projects out of town, and we were looking for ways to add staff. We were able to make arrangements that we could open our branch office, our first one in Manhattan, Kansas, this last fall, and so we're very excited about that, and we have an excellent young architect that's manning that office for us. So we're very pleased so far with the first 3 months of business, and we're very excited about what the future holds for us.
That's awesome. And you guys have done some incredible projects. I mean, I think about Fellowship Bible Church.
Yes.
It is a gorgeous, gorgeous place. I mean, it was beautiful before, and now it's just like a whole new world, and it's just amazing. So that's the one that comes to mind. What else? What are some of the other projects that you are working on or have worked on?
Sure. Well, I co-own the firm with Mike Wilson. He's the founding partner, and I'm now the president of the firm. But we've got 25 plus years of work around this town. Our tagline, jokingly, is "You know us by our work," because most people sometimes don't realize those projects are ours. But recent ones that you might recognize or hear about are the new Cyrus Hotel project that's getting ready to start in downtown Topeka. That one's a project that Cody Foster is the primary investor in, and will be a big impact project for downtown. We were also working with Bartlett and West Engineers and redid the Kansas Avenue a couple years ago, which is taking some time and is now wrapping up. But it was the big shot in the arm for downtown. Another project that folks might recognize is the old, when I say old, the Heritage Bank building there at 29th and 37th and Wanamaker.
It's a beautiful building.
Yeah, in that area between 29th and 37th on Wanamaker.
Yeah.
That project was an exciting one for us. It was one that kind of opened some other doors around town. We did the Digestive Health Center over at Stormont Vale a few years back. We are getting ready to break ground on the new TCALC facility. That's the Center for Advanced Learning and Careers.
Yes.
For USD 501. That's on the old state hospital grounds. So if you live out there on the southwest part of town, you might recognize the new Sunflower Smiles dentistry building that Dr. Browning opened a year or two ago. So we have about 100 projects a year, big and small. We do the little things too. In fact, we like kind of say that no project is too small for us, because we'll take the smallest business person or client and start early with them, and many times they're the ones that come back and we do more projects and they get bigger, and so it's fun. We have clients that have been with us for 20 plus years. Just as they grow, we grow, and needs, and it's nice to know people can call and talk with us and see what kind of solutions they need design wise, or helping them with planning, all those kind of things. So, and those are just the things we're doing in Topeka. So we're excited about projects we have over in Manhattan, and we've done work with some community colleges, Allen County and Seward Community College, Manhattan Area Technical College. We've also got a couple of projects on Washburn's campus, smaller ones, but again, we keep pretty busy. We're not just one we don't do just one school of work. We're not just a school district firm or hospital firm. We kind of have 7 or 8 different studios of work, commercial and medical and school district. We just kind of down the line, a lot of our projects over in Kansas City and throughout kind of different parts of Kansas are multifamily housing projects that, whether it's market rate or tax credit projects, we have several clients. Some of them specialize in one or the other, and we just they take us wherever they go and we help them out. So it makes it exciting because we don't just do one thing over and over. That can mean sometimes you can have a lot of things going on and a lot of different requirements, but I think it also is what keeps you sharp, because you don't just kind of get into a groove and get stuck doing one thing. You always have a variety of work and a variety of sizes of work and a variety of clients then. So
yeah, well,
fun. And
I'm thinking about that huge variety of work you've done, and then within all of that, you were a major player and decision maker, and somebody who really played a part in the whole Kansas Avenue and what's going on with downtown moving forward and making that progress. And I know there was no underspent, but the amount of time that you put into making the Kansas Avenue and the pocket parks all happen was tremendous.
Yeah, well, that's very kind of you to say it. And that I was a part of that. There were a lot of us involved, and early on, guys like Mike Morse and Neil Dobler with Bartlett and West, and you had Vince Fry come on board, and quite a few other folks that got into the effort that at critical times when it needed to move along, and to have the former mayor as well as the current mayor be advocates, and then major donors like the Dicus family from Capital Federal come on board with some of the other major donors. What was great about a project like that is, yes, we were at a key point very involved in helping with the initiative, but it was great to stay involved the whole time and see all of the other people that came in and played a critical role at a critical time so that it could move forward, because those are unique projects where you have private money working together with taxpayer money to make a bigger project, to kind of leverage one with the other. And there are more opportunities in this town like that. And I think you see those great communities out there that have successful projects. It's where everybody in town works together to come up with the right projects where that happens. So yeah, I'm excited to be part of things like that, but there's always new ones that they're working on, and I can't be involved with all of them, but it's exciting to see others get involved too, because there's room for everybody. That's the great thing about it.
Well, it's definitely been exciting. So you just don't slow down. So that was going on, and now you're opening up in Manhattan. And so now let's talk a little bit about the Military Council, because I know that you just don't have any, you have a free second, I guess, to do Military Council. Talk a little bit about what's going on with the Military Council, that the Chamber, Greater Topeka Chamber of Commerce, has just created this Military Council, and they've got a lunch coming up soon. So talk a little bit about that.
Yes, so a year ago, if you're familiar with Melissa Jarbo, her husband was the serviceman that was, fatally injured. He was shot in overseas in the Middle East, and then when he returned, he passed away from his injuries. And Melissa has elected to stay in the Topeka community and raise her family, but she is just she is the Energizer Bunny as far as helping people connect and relate to concerns of veterans and servicemen and women who are still involved in the military, and helping the business community as well as just our community at large. And it's not just Topeka. She does this nationwide. She's about every other week. She seems like she's traveling or talking with somebody of some significance and helping further the cause of looking out for our servicemen and women and the veterans. And so Melissa, it was her kind of goal, as she moved ahead in life and making Topeka her home, to help kind of create an organization or a group that would bridge that gap between those folks that were stationed here, whether it's at Forbes or some of the various units that are associated around Forbes, or they were veterans living in the community. And then you actually have the business community itself, that whether there are people here getting higher education, or they're looking to hire veterans for specific skills, or you got veterans that are looking for additional training, something they may have learned a skill in the military and now they're enhancing it, or want to work in a profession that takes advantage of that. trying to bridge the gap between the two, so that I think a lot of people could say Forbes being located here during and after World War II was a catalyst in the growth of Topeka, in part because a lot of those people would leave the military and they liked this part of the country and they liked our community and wanted to stay here, and there were jobs for them. So some of that has come and gone over the years, ebb and flow, and the connectivity has maybe diminished at times. Melissa, working with the chamber, it's been exciting to see her kind of reawaken that spirit in our town, and working with the chamber, Matt Pavarnik and Curtis Sneeden, to put together this military relations council that has a mixture of businessmen and women on it, as well as servicemen and women, leaders from the various units that are around here. And so we have some lofty goals, but to start it off and to kind of get engaged with the community, we held our first luncheon last fall in October, and we had Sergeant First Class, he's retired, Michael Schlitz, spoke, and he was severely wounded while serving overseas. And when he came back, he's had upwards of 100 surgeries to recover. He's lost several limbs, but he's kind of accepted life how it is and moving forward, and now is kind of a spokesperson for how people can adapt and assimilate back into the the real world after having served or recovering. And so to have him come and speak at our first luncheon, where we had upwards of 150
it was
attendees,
a huge success.
It was great. And we had numerous representatives of the various branches and some of the government agencies there. And it was great for Michael to kind of relay that, yes, it's a challenge, and yes, it's hard, no matter how many issues you have with, whether it's wounds or just the mental challenges of reassimilating, but it's possible. And that there are people out there that want to help, and that for those that do want to get involved and help, there are opportunities for them. So for that to happen and to see the interest, it was exciting for us to announce that we're going to have our second luncheon February 8th. And we have an exciting speaker that'll be joining us. It's Lieutenant Colonel Dan Skoda, and he's with the 190th Air Refueling Wing. He's a very inspirational speaker, really gets to the heart of having servicemen and women better understand kind of the opportunities and obligations they have as they come back from their overseas commitments, and then reassimilating back into everyday life here, as well as transitioning out of active service into civilian life. And then kind of he has some great stories he's going to tell. But it's also an exciting day for us in that we're going to also announce we're going to recognize, the recipients of the 2017 Armed Forces Personnel of the Year Award, who the night before, those folks will be recognized at the city council meeting by the mayor and our city council members. But we're going to actually kind of have them be our focus at the luncheon and recognize them for their contribution. We have 6 of them that will actually be in attendance, so it's a big deal for us. So we're going to hold the event on the 8th at the Capitol Plaza Hotel. It'll be in the Shawnee Ballroom, and it'll be from 11:30 to 1. The doors will actually open around 11. So the public is invited. Last time we had a great turnout, veterans, just various businesses, public. We had a couple dozen people just walked in and bought tickets that day. Heard about it on the radio or heard about it in the news and wanted to attend. So we're hoping to be a little bit bigger this time. We want to grow a little bit, but we're realizing this isn't meant to be some big 1,000-person event. We want it to be a community event and that anybody's welcome. But we're very excited with where we're going. We have a couple things planned that you'll hear more about as the year goes on, but we're working on an event at Washburn University with their law school that'll include veterans as well as opportunities to use some of the programs that Washburn University has. And then we also have a couple more things planned, one in May, one in September, and one in November that we'll be issuing the dates on and what some of the events will include. So the big mission here for the Military Relations Council is for us to kind of raise the awareness and appreciation that exists between the military and the civilian sectors. And the significance of that is that Topeka really has a tradition as a community, as I mentioned earlier, of doing that. But, there are times where it can be misinterpreted as just, overt patriotism, or it only happens when we have a parade. And what we want to do is to make it be a little more common every day. And that yes, it's still significant, but we want people to, just the public at large, to have a better appreciation that there's an opportunity for all of us to do a little something out there to give something back to those servicemen and women that sacrifice, sometimes the ultimate sacrifice. So many times we're working with their family, that we want them to stay, and we want Topeka to be a great place for everybody, including those veterans that, we all look up to for having made a sacrifice for us. So anyway, we're very excited about it.
It sounds awesome. Yeah. I think that it was something I was excited that was getting started, and we actually have talked multiple times that we think an article in TK, one of the concepts that we've been talking about is talking about veterans and that have become entrepreneurs and business owners and having that conversation. We got into it just a little bit, and we realized how many there are, and they're just the person who you always go see. It's
absolutely
not like some big shocker. But it is important to know that they have this whole story before they ever started the story,
Yeah.
And I find that fascinating.
I wish I knew what the secret ingredient was. I'm sure there are people out there that can tell us. I didn't serve, but my father is a veteran, and he was in the reserves after serving 2 tours in Vietnam. But one thing I always noticed, those guys that came back and they immersed themselves in some type of entrepreneur related field, or opening a business, or they got in and grew a business. They tended to be driven, they tended to be reliable, they had skill sets that whether it was technical or leadership, they were the kind of people that if you added in the right way to your team, they enhanced it. And you found a role for people and room for them. And so I'm very excited about what there are out there for opportunities for this to grow and continue to expand and maybe spin off some other things. But right now, developing our partnership with the Chamber as well as Washburn University and some of the larger companies in town that have shown a great interest. Our sponsor happens to be AT&T, because they found they had quite a few veterans and actually servicemen and women who were with the Guard or the reserves, but are working for them. Awesome. And then folks like Westar and some of the other businesses in town have, Advisors Excel and some of those others have now reached out and said, we're finding very similar
that they
situations.
Have a whole lot of people.
They aren't people that walk around with a flag on their shoulder every day, but when you dig deeper, you find out absolutely they're veterans, and that's why they tend to do so well, because they've found how to take those skills and reapply themselves and be a contributor in the community. So it's a great opportunity.
Scott, that's awesome. Okay, so if they want more information on the Military Council, where do they need to go?
Well, they can go to the Chamber webpage, or they can look up on Facebook. The Chamber actually has a Military Relations Council Facebook page. Just type in, I don't have it specifically here, but I think if you go to the Chamber version or the Military Relations Council in Topeka, you'll find it on Facebook. So, and there, if you want to attend the event, you can get tickets at either of those locations and purchase them. So a week from today, there's still plenty of time. We have a few tables left and a few seats left, so we don't want to turn people away. We'd love to have them come. So.
Awesome. Okay, before I let you go, how does somebody find out more about Architect One?
Oh, well.
He blushed. That was nice.
We haven't written a book yet, but no, all kidding aside, we try and maintain a presence on social media because we're engaged in the community, so they can find us at our Architect One page on Facebook, or they can look up www.architect1pa.com and find us there. And they're always welcome to call down or stop in. We're located downtown. We put our money where our mouth is and bought a building down there. So just above HHB Barbecue. So anyway.
Excellent. Scott, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Tara. Appreciate it.
That was Scott Gales with Architect One.
My name is Ken Daniel, and the name of my company is Midway Wholesale.
What is TIBA? TIBA is advice and support. TIBA is information and education. TIBA is a voice for small business.
It's amazing the changes that we've gotten made in state law to the point where we had a list at one time and it's just about finished.
The Topeka Independent Business Association is strong because of its members. Become a member today by visiting topekatiba.org.
I have Joie joining me. Welcome, Joie.
Hello.
And Joie is, you have been a part of First Tee of Shawnee County, which is through or by Community Action for quite some time now. And so tell us a little bit about your experiences with First Tee of Shawnee County.
Well, I started in the First Tee the summer before high school, and so I wanted to get into something that my family has been doing for a while. I just kind of woke up one day and was like, you know what, I want to try this. And so I started with my family trying to teach me, and then they decided that they weren't quite enough for me, and I was ready to step up a little bit. So that's when we found the First Tee. And I've been playing for 4 years now with the First Tee, and they kind of teach you a lot, and you go through these different levels. And right now I'm on the birdie level, which is more centered around trying to plan for your future and how to set goals and reach those goals for the future. And it's really been beneficial for me.
That's awesome. So what got you interested in golf? You said you were interested early on. What made golf the thing that you're like, I want to do this?
Well, a lot of the guys in my family play. I'm sort of a tomboy, so I wanted to be doing something that the guys were doing.
Well, and showing them that you can do it too, right?
Yeah.
That's great. So what have been some of the rewards through the process that you've had as you've gone through First Tee?
Well, I'm a senior this year, so I've been lucky to get a scholarship to Bethany College.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's excellent. So how did that come about? You golfed in, what was the school do you go to?
I go to Topeka High.
Awesome. Okay, so you golf for Topeka High?
Yes.
And so they found you, and the whole process, though, started through First Tee.
Yes.
That's excellent. So tell me a little bit about First Tee. I was told before we got on the air that you're a board member. So how did you find First Tee, and what have you gained through First Tee?
Just kind of finding it. We were going online trying to figure out what programs were in Topeka, and this was sort of one of the first ones that popped up. And so they just kind of called Elmer and figured out how to get into this program. And then we just they're like, it's in the summer mostly, so we started out in the summer. And now that I've gotten older and I'm one of the oldest ones in the group, I've sort of gotten higher and been able to help them with mentoring the little kids. And now I've been on the chair, one of the boards with First Tee to help them figure out sort of the planning side of the First Tee instead of just all of the playing side.
So you talked a little bit about how you're in the birdie level. Mm-hmm. And so you've gone through multiple levels. So First Tee is so different because it's not just about golf, right? So talk a little bit about what it all encompasses when you are a part of First Tee.
Well, when you get into the First Tee, you're going to start out in player level, and they teach you the 9 core values, which sort of set up the whole program. You're going to learn them all the way through, and then as you go through the levels, you learn sort of different life skills to go through the whole thing.
That's awesome. So what's been your favorite thing of all of it?
My favorite thing is being able to travel in the More Than a Game during the summer.
That's awesome. So tell me a little bit more about More Than a Game.
Well, More Than a Game is you take the more elite players in the level, the higher level kids, and you travel around to 4 different counties that have the First Tee program, and you get a day to go learn about something in the community. Like this year, it was here in Topeka, and we went to the homeless shelter and helped there feed the homeless people, and we helped them clean up the tables and wash dishes. And then we went to the Kansas Museum here and took a little tour around there. And then the next day, we all get paired up with someone from different counties, and then we play with them as a team. And then we, at the end, there's a winner, and you get prizes, and you get to meet a whole bunch of new people.
That sounds incredible. Okay, so tell me about this special physical challenge.
Well, I have arthritis, so.
Oh, wow. So how has that been with golfing and going through this whole process?
Well, a lot of it is in my back now and in my hands, so with golf, your back and your hands are
pretty important.
Mostly what you're using. So there's days when it's like, I don't want to do this and I'm in a lot of pain, but I mean, it's something that I really love, so I just keep going and don't let it stop me.
That's awesome. So, all right, you're headed to Bethany. Mm-hmm. You have accomplished all these things. What do you see for your future? I didn't prep her for that question, so that wasn't necessarily fair there.
Well, at Bethany, I'm going to study biochemistry, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I want to do nuclear medicine.
Wow, that is awesome. Joey, it was awesome to meet you. I am so excited about what you've done so far and being representative of First Tee of Shawnee County and all that's going on for you and then everything that's ahead for your future. And I hope you come back to Topeka and do it all here.
Oh, yes, I'll come back.
Joey, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks so much to my guests, Scott Gales with Architect One and Joey representing First Tee of Shawnee County through Community Action. And a big shout out to our sponsor, the Topeka Independent Business Association. You can go learn more about them by checking out their website. Go to topekatiba.org. That's topekatiba.org. Thanks so much for joining me today and have a fabulous week.
Thanks for joining Tara and her guests on TK Business Live. Join us again next Sunday at 11:30 to hear more from our community business leaders, entrepreneurs, and people making a difference in the landscape of how business is progressively moving forward in Topeka. TK Business Live is brought to you by the members of the Topeka Independent Business Association.